The Samoan Islands are an archipelago covering 3,030 square kilometers in the central South Pacific, forming part of Polynesia and the wider region of Oceania. The population of the Samoan Islands is approximately 250,000, sharing a common language, Samoan, a culture known as Faa Samoa, and an indigenous form of governance called Famatai. Today, the islands have two jurisdictions: the independent country of Samoa in the western half of the islands, and the territory of American Samoa comprising the islands to the east. The two regions are separated by 64 kilometers of ocean. Most Samoans are full-blooded and are one of the largest Polynesian populations in the world. The oldest dates of far from prehistoric remains in the Samoan Islands has been calculated from archaeology in Samoa to a likely true age of c. 1050 BCE from a lapita site at Mulai Wharf on Upolu Island. In 1768, the eastern islands were visited by French explorer Bougainville, who named them the Navigator Islands, a name used by missionaries until about 1845 and in official European dispatches until about 1870. Samoa and American Samoa. Politically, the two jurisdictions of the Samoa Islands are: Samoa, independent nation, situated at the western half of the islands, gained political independence in 1962. Formerly known as German Samoa and Western Samoa. Capital Apia, currency Samoan Tala. American Samoa, an unincorporated territory of the United States consisting of the islands to the east. Capital Pago Pago, currency US dollar. Political partition. In the late 1800s, rivalry between the United States, Germany, and the United Kingdom resulted in the Tripartite Convention that formally partitioned the Samoan archipelago into a German colony and a United States territory. Forerunners to the Tripartite Convention of 1899 were the Washington Conference of 1887, the Treaty of Berlin of 1889, and the Anglo-German Agreement on Samoa of 1899. New Zealand occupied the German colony through 1920, then governed the Western Islands until independence in 1962 as a League of Nations Class C mandate and United Nations Trust territory after 1946. The pro-independence Mau movement across the islands eventually led to the political independence of the Western Islands from New Zealand in 1962, while the Eastern Islands, American Samoa, remains a political territory of the United States. Islands. Samoa, Upolu's population 134,400, most populous island in the group. Saveri, population 43,142, largest land mass and most western in the group. Most recent volcanic eruptions: Mount Matavanu, Matarola AFI, Mauga AFI. Manono, population 889. Apalima, population 75. Vanuatu, uninhabited, volcanic tuffering. Namua, uninhabited, has beach-fail accommodation for visitors, viewed from Lalamanu Beach. New Ulopa, uninhabited, lies in the Apalima Strait between Upolu and Saveri. Nuula, uninhabited, volcanic tuffering, land area 25 hectares, conservation habitat for endemic native birdlife. New Usafe, uninhabited, tiny rocky islet off the south coast of Upolu by the village of Poutazi. Newftel, uninhabited, volcanic tuffering, conservation for native birdlife, also viewed from popular Lalamanu Beach. The islands of Manono, Apalima and New Ulopa lie in the Apalima Strait between Upolu and Saveri. The four small uninhabited islands Newftel, Nuula, Namua and Vanuatu are situated off the east coast of Upolu and comprise the Alaipata Islands. American Samoa, Tutuila, population 55,876, main island in the territory. Aunu, population 476, located southeast of Tutuila. Tau, population 873, largest island in Manor Group. Ofu Olusegun, volcanic doublet comprising Ofu and Olusegun in the Mania group of islands. Rose Atoll, also known as Motuo Manu's conservation habitat for native birdlife, marine life, green turtle and endangered hawksbill turtle. Swains Island, politically administered by American Samoa but culturally part of Tokelau copra plantation. Location: the islands are approximately 800 kilometers from Fiji, 530 kilometers from Tonga, 2,900 kilometers from New Zealand, and 4,000 kilometers from Hawaii, USA. The islands lies between 13 degrees and 14 degrees south latitude and 169 degrees and 173 degrees west longitude, about 480 kilometers from west to east. The larger islands are volcanic in origin, mountainous, and covered in tropical moist forest. Some of the smaller islands are coral atolls with black sand beaches. Highest points. The highest peak is Mount Silisli on the island of Saveri, one of the highest peaks in Polynesia at 1,858 meters. The highest point in American Samoa is on Tau Lata Mountain at 966 meters. Land mass. The two large islands of Upolu and Saveri in Samoa are among the largest of Polynesian islands at 1,718 square kilometers and 1,125 square kilometers, respectively, exceeded in size only by the two main islands of Fiji and the Hawaiian islands of Hawaii and Maui. The island of Upolu is more populated than Saveri. The next largest island is Tutuila, where the city and harbour Pago Pago is located. Tutuila is much smaller than Upolu and Saveri at 136.2 square kilometers in area, but it is the largest island in American Samoa. The highest peak on Tutuila is Matafao Peak. Smaller islands in the archipelago include the three islets in the Apalima Strait between Saveri and Upolu, the four Alaipata Islands off the eastern end of Upolu, and New Usafa. To the east of Tutuila, the Manor group comprises Ofu, Olusegun, Tau, and Aunu. An uninhabited coral atoll, Rose Atoll, is the southernmost point in the territory of the United States. Another coral atoll, Swains Island, is within the territory of American Samoa but is geographically distant from the Samoan archipelago. Geology. A possible model for the formation of the volcanic Samoa island chain is explained by the Samoa hotspot situated at the east end of the Samoa Islands. In theory, the Samoa hotspot is a result of the Pacific tectonic plate moving over a fixed deep and narrow mantle plume spewing up through the Earth's crust. The Samoa Islands generally lie in a straight line, east to west, in the same direction the plate is moving. In the classic hotspot model, primarily based on studies of the Hawaii hotspot, the volcanic islands and seamounts further away from the Samoa hotspot should be progressively older. However, Saveri, the most western of the Samoa island chain, and Tau Island, the most eastern of the Samoa Islands, both erupted in the last century, data which is an enigma for scientists. Another discrepancy in the data from the Samoa Islands is that subaerial rock samples from Saveri, the most western of the islands, were too young by several million years to fit the classic hotspot model of age progression in an island chain, raising arguments among scientists that the Samoa Islands does not have a plume origin. The nearness of the island chain to the Tonga Trench at the south became a possible explanation for these discrepancies, as well as the possibility that the islands were formed by magma seeping through cracks in stressed fracture zones. However, in 2005, an international team gathered further submarine samples from the deep flanks and rifts of Saveri. Tests on these later samples showed much older ages, about 5 million years old, that fit the hotspot model. 2009 Samoa earthquake and tsunami. The 2009 Samoa earthquake and tsunami killed more than 170 people in the Samoa Islands and Tonga. The M8.1 submarine earthquake took place in the region at 6 hours 48 minutes and 11 seconds local time on September 29, 2009, followed by smaller aftershocks. It was the largest earthquake of 2009. The quake occurred on the outer rise of the Kermadec-Tonga subduction zone. This is part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, where tectonic plates in the Earth's lithosphere meet and earthquakes and volcanic activity are common. Valeleusi Mount. The Valeleusi Mount, an active submerged volcano, lies 45 kilometers east of Tau in American Samoa. It was discovered in 1975 and has since been studied by an international team of scientists, contributing towards understanding of the Earth's fundamental processes. Growing inside the summit crater of Valeleu is an active underwater volcanic cone, named after Samoa's goddess of war, Nafua. Climate. The climate is tropical, with a rainy season from November to April. The island group is frequently hit by tropical cyclones between December and March due to its positioning in the South Pacific Ocean. Gallery. Samoa Islands.